My name is Peter Maguire. In 1997, I created and launched jazz clubs worldwide. The past year or so has been something of an existential crisis for the jazz scene worldwide. Upside or downside, it has, however, provided space and time for reflection. Jazz, My Life, is a non-sequential series of my own personal recollection and thoughts about my own lifelong immersion in the world of jazz. If you feel inclined to do so, please click on the subscribe button and the notification saxman icon. RAF Yatesbury was located between Caen and Marlborough, occupied a plateau, high plateau on the Wiltshire Downs, directly opposite to one of the famous white horses which was cut into the chalk in the hillside opposite to the main gate. It was a training centre for electronics. Most of the buildings were wood. I think there was just the odd brick building. Really quite a lot of people were there. I'm not exactly sure, but considerable numbers of people actually were there for training purposes. It was interesting insofar as there was quite a significant number of jazz musicians, or well, aspiring jazz musicians, and of course in keeping with the time, all trying to play New Orleans, Dixieland, well, mostly New Orleans because they tended to be purists. And it was there that I started playing with various other people. One particular guy, Tony Pringle from Liverpool, who had played quite extensively in Liverpool, was a very, very good cornet player. And we formed a band called the Stonehenge City Jazzmen, which I claim credit for actually inventing this label for the band. It was surprising actually at that time. Trad jazz, as it was called, was really quite popular, so we would get bands who would visit the RAF station at Yatesbury, and there was another station at Compton Bassett not far away which also featured quite well known headlining traditional jazz bands. Our road to being known, as it were, started because on a Saturday night, I think it was, there was a dance in Caen, which is quite a small place, very famous for making bacon, Caen, Wiltshire bacon, very, very well known. And in fact, we used to go there on the Saturday night, and there was a little kind of local band, I can't remember, 4 or 5 piece doing the usual rooty toot stuff. Anyway, we persuaded the people that in fact we should be allowed to play with the Stonehenge City Jazzmen in the interval, and this we did, and it became really quite popular. I'm not sure how happy the resident band were, but you know, trad was actually much appreciated by a certain generation at that time. And from there we did odd gigs here and there, but the highlight of our career was basically that we took part in the Caen Annual Talent Contest. Now this had actually been won, I think, for years and years by a school choir from one of the local schools. Anyway, we did our performance, which went down to great acclaim, and we actually won the Caen Talent Contest. The mayor, who you can see the picture of here, was not at all amused by this change in the social outlook, I don't think, of the local community, but it was a high spot for us. Yeah, it was good days, and in addition to that, I also played on a regular basis with a band in Swindon called the Ray River Jazzmen, and did all kinds of things, played in country houses and country fairs, and it was an extremely interesting time musically. And so some of the musicians, the banjo player who came from Manchester, I saw in subsequent years. Tony Pringle went off to America, and in fact ran a very, very successful band in America, in the Boston, Massachusetts area for many, many years. Sadly, he died 2 or 3 years ago, maybe a little longer, but he was never changed his style. He was a very, very dedicated traditional jazz cornet player. But it was an extraordinary time. One particular note was we actually were the support band for what was a really big time band at that time, which was the Mick Mulligan Band, which included George Melly and the late Harold Salisbury, who was a very, very nice man. He was playing bass, but he was a trombone player and trumpet player, very lyrical, and I subsequently used to bump into him in my Soho days. So there we are, as much as it seems extremely unlikely, a jazz group based basically in a Royal Air Force technical training school on the top of the Wiltshire Downs.